theater is going to have any tables, chairs that you might need. Plan ahead and make sure you have a source for it before you get here into Orlando. So we talked about props and scenery. Okay, Beth touched on it earlier, but I'm just going to kind of go over it a little bit more. Load in, load out. When you, your 20-minute load in before your show time and everything, you get 20 minutes to come in, get everything set up. That is not including the time to open your house, okay? So 20 minutes before your, it's actually 30 minutes before the start time of your show, the venue technician, and please do not enter the venue unless they give you permission to, will allow you into the theater at your load-in time. You get your stuff on the stage. After 20 minutes, at 10 minutes till start time, they will open your house. The audience will start loading at that point. If you are not finished loading the stage, and I'll use Hurricane Me as an example, if you have a large setup with a live band, what have you, on the stage, it is your choice that as the audience starts filling the house, if you still want your techs or your help, your stagehands running around setting things up, that is your option. But the house will open, always will try to open 10 minutes prior before the show. If it's a small house, if you're in one of the 60-seat theaters or something like that, usually we can load one of those in 5. And so if we have to hold opening house for a little bit, you know, it's possible. And so we can, you know, stall a little bit.
We cannot do it in these venues.
In a 300-seat theater, sometimes you may, and be prepared for it. If you are selling out and your show is selling well, and you have 300 people coming to see your show, sometimes we may have to open house a little early. We may have to cut your load-in time to 15 minutes to allow 15 minutes to load the house, just to get all of your ticket holders in here and seated. Be prepared for it if you're in one of these bigger venues.
And even if you're in a smaller venue and your show's selling out a lot, 10 minutes isn't a lot of time for a load-in, you know, of an audience with issues and everything else, you know. And they have them. Hey, Jim Halsinger. Yeah, come on in here. This is Jim Halsinger, and he is the artistic director of the Orlando Shakes. And he is so kind to let the Orlando Fringe come in here and take over his theater that does all these fabulous, very legitimate things around here. And we are grateful.
We're thrilled to have you guys here. Absolutely, absolutely thrilled. It's a high point of the year. I won't interrupt you anymore. I'm dealing with witches.
Yes. Okay, so saying that, does everybody understand that? 20 minutes to load in, 10 minutes to open house. Okay? Load out starts as soon as your show is over. Please, please, please tell your friends, tell your family to come and see your show, to meet you out in the lobby once you have finished load out. Your venue tech will be embarrassed, but will kick your grandmother out of the theater if they have to, and tell them to go wait for you in the lobby to get the loadout completed. It is important that you guys are on top of that loadout time because it is so, so tight. As we're walking through, I'll show you guys your storage spaces and everything, and so y'all can start thinking about choreographing load in and load out. And I use that word, choreographing, important. Plan it, get it down tight. Get your actors and actresses and everything to practice it during your rehearsal sessions. It is very, very important. With the runtime that Beth was mentioning, I just want to say that for my venue techs who work in theater year-round and love this business, it kills a little part of their soul every time that they have to cut one of your shows off early. It truly does. They hate doing it, but they have to, because of our time conflicts, and if they don't, they have to answer to me. And so that's the last thing they want to do. And so, but trust me, they are not doing it because they're vengeful or they want to just ruin your day. It is just part of the rules, and just don't take it out on them, please. If you have a problem about your runtime, or if one of your shows was cut and you think it was cut unfairly, come talk to me, come talk to Beth, and we'll see if we can, you know, figure out what the problem is. So, you know, and just don't test it one time and that's it, and everything, the lights will be brought up on you, and there will be an announcement made asking the audience to please leave the theater, that the next show has to load in. For strike, just reiterating and everything, when your last performance is done in the space, If you have scenery or props that can be loaded out in that 10 minutes of your normal load time and can be cleared out of the storage space, I am all for that. That is the best time to do it. If you have large scenery, large prop items that need a little bit more, need a truck pulled up to the loading dock for, if you can make arrangements with me and your venue tech that at the end of business that day, you can come and unload your, or load up your stuff at the end of the day of your last performance. Because what happens, especially in this venue, is if people are loading up back there, the sound bleed will come onto the stage and it will interrupt a performance that is going on at the time. And so if you need and have bigger props and scenery, just make those arrangements with me and your venue tech to come back later. And that is totally possible. For the festival load-in, as you can see, we in most of these theaters are still up and running and in business. I cannot answer a lot of questions about the light plots and stuff like that at this moment because I don't know what's going to be in the air when Fringe loads in. And so as I get that information, I will pass it on to you. But I ask you just to be patient with me. We will, as always, as it says in the tech form, provide the basics. You will be given a wash. You will be given at least one special that can be refocused from group to group and everything. That does not, there was some confusion about this last year. That does not mean that the special can be moved and rehung, okay? That means that in the 20-minute load-in time, your technician has the time to pull out a ladder and refocus a unit only, not move it across the grid and try to repatch it and get it all ready for you. So where we place the specials in the venue as we're loading in, those specials are refocusable for each group. Going through some of the things on here, there seems to be some confusion, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands about what I mean by live amplified music. If you are bringing a band on stage with you, and you are planning on doing your own kind of sound system possibly, I need to know about this ahead of time. If you're bringing guitar players, keyboard players, bass players and stuff like that, that you need to set up amps and stuff, equipment on the stage, and if it's necessary for you to patch into our house system, I need to know about this ahead of time. I need to know what instruments you're bringing in, what you expect from the venue, whether you want them in the house or whether you're bringing in a self-sustaining system. Because this will help speed up your tech rehearsal extremely if I'm aware of this ahead of time and can plan for it. And can also help you in letting you know what you need to bring with you and what this theater can accommodate. Lighting equipment you supply. If you're bringing in lighting equipment, I need to know. It is very important. Each theater is different and everything. Most of the theaters here work on a 3-pin system. Because I do not have enough adapters to go around. So if you bring in something like an American DJ strobe that is an Edison, and you want to put it into our system and be controlled by one of our boards, it will need to be turned around, so you need to bring in the right adapters. But the rep works on a completely different system. And so depending on the venue you're in, I need to know what you're bringing in so I can tell you what to bring with you. Hanging elements. Not every venue we are allowed to hang in. And before I go any further, I totally forgot about this in the earlier walkthrough at the rep. If you are in silver venue, I cannot allow anything to be hung in that venue. Yes, it is a fly house, but we are not allowed to use the fly system. We are allowed to use one batten